The music industry makeover.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Thursday night, we're in the building. Yes, MIM for sure. Oh yes. Hey, fellas, how's everything going with y'all?
Hey man, back for another Thursday. Everything's good.
Good.
Surviving.
Yes. Hey, man. Well, hey, not only surviving but thriving. You know what I'm saying? In Jesus' name. Okay.
Man.
Hey, so y'all spread the word. Tell everyone. Hey, we are here. Hey, we got a great show lineup for you tonight. Man, MIM time. Hey, we're gonna make this happen. Okay. Definitely. Let's get right into it. Hey, Roku. Yes, that's right. We are on Amazon and Roku. Go if you have those devices. Go and check us out. All right, Music Industry Makeover. Download the free app. Hey, support our channel. Come check it out. All right, Music Industry Makeover, marketing promotions. This is what we do. This is exactly what it looks like here. Whenever you go there to Amazon or Roku. Oh yes, and don't forget In the Box happening tomorrow night. All right, go ahead, Rico.
And we're gonna have Shane Costa from Blackish and Ballers, man. He's gonna be on. You know, last time we had him on, we had some technical difficulties. So pretty much, man, he's gonna come back in the box, man, and we're gonna tap into some things. Looking for a great show, you know, as well, man. Check out In the Box, man, on Roku. It's very easy to find on Roku. One thing you got to do, man, is go to the store channel, type in Music Industry Makeover, either In the Box, and it'll pop right up, you know, and as well. So if you're trying to find us on Amazon Fire Stick, you can go to the Amazon Marketplace and just type in Music Industry. You go to Amazon.com and type in Music Industry Makeover In the Box, and the app will pop up. Or if you're on your device, go to the search bar and then type in either Music Industry Makeover or In the Box. Gray box will appear, labeled Apps and Games. You click in that box and you'll see Music Industry Makeover or either In the Box, and that is the app picture that you'll actually see to make sure. And if you can, go and rate the shows. You know, we don't, we want you to be honest what you think about the shows. But we've been getting some love, man, and we're doing this for you guys, man. So all the information that we bring to you every week on both of these shows is really to help you grow, help you to expand, man, build you up.
There you go. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing? It's been a minute. Yes. All right.
What's up, Sean?
Impact Radio, yes, and Miss Cassandra. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, yes. Man, what's your stage name, man? No, not Mahogany Jones. Yeah, I know who you are. But anyways, hey, DJ Lady Grace. Yeah, that's right. Hey, good to hear from you. Okay, awesome. Y'all spread the word. Music Industry Makeover is on, and hey, go visit our website, musicindustrymakeover.com. All right, musicindustrymakeover.com. See what we have to offer. Check us out. Hey, we are here. We also next week. Well, actually, tomorrow? So we'll have our merchandising up as well too. So hey, if you like the hats,
get that merch.
All that, yes.
There you go.
Check it out. There you go. Hey, you've been MIM. You've been mean, whatever. Or MIM. I don't know. Hey, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But all right. Hey, what else we got, fellas?
Danny.
Industry news, buddy.
Industry news. Let's get right into it then. Hey, and y'all spread the
get
word.
into it.
Yes, spread the word.
So the main thing that I feel like we want to talk about tonight is this article in Rapzilla.
Yes.
That came out earlier this week, and let me pull it back up, where it says five reasons why Christian hip hop artists are leaving the industry. And I'm going to paraphrase. I had to get to it. I'm going to paraphrase some of that so that we can kind of talk about it, because I feel like the person that wrote it touched on a lot of interesting things as it pertains to independent artists. And some I agree with, some I don't agree with. So let's go over the five reasons that the writer Richard Cutright. He said these are the 5 reasons that artists consider leaving Christian rap. First one is the impossible standard. He said, y'all hold Christian rappers to a higher standard than you hold preachers and heads of Christian universities, namely Liberty University, and even the president. Second, the judgment. He said Trump literally sat in a church and said he could kill someone and y'all would still follow him. But if a Christian rap artist has a photo with liquor in it, y'all ready to send that person to hell. That was 2. 3, the backlash. Most posts I've seen, this is the author. Most posts I've seen from Christian hip hop artists about blackness or fighting for the rights of black people has a largely negative response, often soaked in racism. That's a very key point.
Wow.
Number 4 is the new toy syndrome. He calls it the new toy syndrome. He says a Christian hip hop artist can be doing amazing music for years and get no awards, get very few touring opportunities, and very little money. But let a mainstream artist say Jesus in an ad lib, and y'all tell the Christian hip hop artist he's trash and should do it like the mainstream artist.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we're gonna get back to that. And then lastly, he talks about the shadiness. And he says, not to mention the closet racism, unequal pay, even if you're doing well, awful record deals, snubs at every corner behind the scenes in the Christian music industry. No wonder dudes say this may not be worth it. Maybe the grass is greener somewhere else. So let's start with some reactions.
I'll tell you what. Let's just do this. Rico, let's cover that. Because we got a little time here. We're gonna just kind of chop it in a little time here. I know. I'm gonna make it. Let's talk about higher standards for a second.
The impossible standard.
The impossible
standards. Okay.
And I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna let you guys jump in. The reason why it became the standards became impossible, or shall I say, football with baseball rules and so on and so forth, is only because you had the wrong expectations in the first place.
I was about to go there.
Which means that you went in, you came into a worship center, or let's just say you just dwelt, in other words, you were there, you were a member there, and now you became an artist. You know what I'm saying? And your expectations were, hey, listen, I would like for this church to support what I'm doing. I mean, I hear your heart. But to dwell on it and to live in that in that zone, that's where the problem came in.
I'm gonna have to push back on that, but I'm gonna let Rico go first.
So let me. Now we all may have a different angle. That's what's great about the MIM team. We all have our perspective, and we may see something different. But this is what I see. The reason why people feel like there's an impossible standard there is really because when Christian hip hop really started moving, you're presenting the gospel, right? So when you present the gospel, we're trying to tie it to church. We're trying to tie it to biblical teaching. We're trying to tie it to a biblical standard. Although that biblical standard may be a little skewed because we deal with a lot of religion in the body of Christ. But in order to get the church's dollar, a lot of artists appeal to that religious aesthetic of the church. Fact. Even if you don't really feel like it, you present that, or you present yourself that way, where really you may be drinking a whole goal in the background. So I'm just saying, see a lot of stuff. So when you present that, and then you start making other decisions, that's what caused the people to disconnect or have something to say. Because, that's why a lot of people got mad with Lecrae. Because when, and I'm saying, I'm just saying that there's two sides. But, if I come to your house and I'm an insurance guy, right? And I'm selling you insurance, and then I come back and say, man, no, that's a bad analogy. I'm gonna say if whatever I present myself to you, and I say, hey, this is all that I am, your expectation is this is all that I am. But if I would have come to the door to say, this is not the expectation, yeah, I am this person, but this is my belief, but this is how I believe all this should work, then I think people will have fell in line. It wouldn't have been as great. But when you present one thing
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we are very one-track minded in the church. Like most people, they're
Right.
one-dimensional, right?
Right.
Whatever expectation they have of you, it's very hard for them to see you in a different color than what they put you in. So I think the impossible standard came because artists presented one thing and morphed to something else and left the expectation that they wasn't going to morph to something else or that was nothing else but this. So I think that's kind of how we got derailed.
I think that too. I think that too. Also, a very good point, both of y'all. It goes back to the foundation. Why did you get into this in the first place?
Okay.
Bottom line, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you can start out one way, but you don't want to be tempted to say, oh yeah, man, hey, I can make money off this. I can do, because again, the gospel is not for sale. But it goes back to the foundation. Why did you get into this the first place? And even artists, gospel artists, you have to answer that question for yourself, because that's where it all goes back to. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna push back just a little bit. And you know, I was having a conversation with Rico about this earlier today. I kind of look at hey Mary.
Hey.
I kind of look at Christian hip hop as a chemistry experiment that eats itself every time it's successful. And it has to be started, it has to start over again. And for whatever reason, it's the factors, it's the elements that are within Christian hip hop that cause it to eat itself. And it's usually coming from someone who either thinks that you shouldn't be successful, you shouldn't make money, you shouldn't market, you shouldn't use business practices. But it's also coming from churches and organizations who want to use artists to put people in the seats without compensating them. And so, yeah, there is an impossible standard. That impossible standard for me might be, oh, you expect me to sit up here and write rhymes and create CDs and not get paid for them, but I'm supposed to be doing them for the glory of God. No, that doesn't necessarily work that way. And, and I think that also, maybe it's the roots of hip hop that make church people nervous.
True.
Really. Because if you look at the prosperity gospel, and I hope I'm not getting on a tangent, but if you look at prosperity gospel as a whole, you would think that hip hop would thrive in prosperity gospel. With the tenets of do this and God's going to reward you and rain money from heaven. And you would think that. And so, yeah, it is an impossible standard. I never listened to Christian hip hop because I needed to get saved. I never listened to Christian hip hop because I needed somebody to minister to me. You know why I actually listened to Christian hip hop? Because I wanted to listen to a hip hop beat that I could listen to in front of my mama.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like rap music. I like the production. I like 808s. I like bass drums. But I didn't like the lyrics that made my mama nervous.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the only reason that I would listen to Christian hip hop. And so I get what y'all are saying about that impossible standard and why you got into it. But then there's some people that just got into it because, hey, maybe they weren't called. Maybe they just liked it.
It goes back to motivation.
Yeah. Let me make quick 2 points.
Hey, hold on. Hold on real quick. We'll say, Cassandra says, I feel like a lot of these reasons are centered around wanting to be accepted in pride. If you're a Christian rapper because you're doing what God called you to do, you don't need the church approval. I agree.
I no, and she's on point, because I was just about to say in the book of John, Jesus said he came to his own and his own received him not. So his intentions, his motive, his purpose was clear. And then the thing is that a lot of artists come and they have good intentions. They may be emotionally driven at the time to do something to reach their community, but again, they're going about it the wrong way. And so the second part to that is quiet as it's kept. And a lot of people don't understand that most of the pastors who are successful understand, they understand the purpose. You understand? They're very business savvy, meaning that they have businesses before, they have businesses after. You get what I'm saying? They know, they click with other pastors who do business. You know what I'm saying? And that's for some of the ones who are successfully and don't really really have the fuss about, hey, listen, bring you haven't paid tithes in a couple of weeks and so on and so forth. They do pretty well. You understand? They believe me, I know they do. Now, for the ones who some pastors are the same, some of them just go in and get their little certificate from the city hall or whatever, come back and say, hey, listen, God called me to do such and such, but with no business ethics. You can tell which ones because they're the ones that's really like bombing on you about, hey, listen, you haven't been here in a couple of Sundays, you haven't paid your tithes or whatever. So now this also reflects as the artist. Artist comes in there and say, God called me to do such and such, but he has no strategy, he has no foundation, he has no base. He's not trying. All he knows is just to write those raps.
All right, awesome. Again, this is the Music Industry Makeover every Thursday night. Hey, thank y'all so much for joining in. If you want to join in on this conversation, feel free to go ahead and post your comment or question or so. I think that was definitely a great article what he wrote, and we need to have these kind of conversations out there. Put them again. Why are you doing what you're doing? If you're an artist out there, if you're going to be an artist, then you need to work as an artist. Do the strategy. Have a strategy, as Vince say. Okay, stop looking for free services. All right, handle your business if you're going to be an artist. But because there's only two things: either you have a business or you have an expensive hobby. Bottom line,
yeah, right.
Seriously. So, and as an artist, you are a business. You are a brand. Okay.
And last but not least, man, this is the only subject. It's just the only 35-year subject.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, nobody else. I mean, as far as the genre is concerned, everybody can accept, hey, listen, there's not much to be made, but they're doing the best they can. But this issue right here has been going on since the 80s, the same conversation. So my pushback is, well, what are you doing? I mean, now that you're frustrated, you done cried about it, what are you going to do about it?
So there's some things, man, in that what Cassandra got a question for you, man, before I get rolling, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, D.
Yeah. To answer the question, do you believe Christian hip hop can be used as an evangelism tool? Yes, it can. I've seen it. I've seen it used. I've seen it used to reach people that normally would not be reached. And just like the word says, like some pastors have said, the word will meet you where you are. The Holy Spirit will meet you where you are. So yeah, I have seen that. However, I have also seen that everybody's motivation into getting into Christian hip hop is not to be an evangelist.
And gospel too.
And it's not to be a minister. It might sound simple and it might sound like an oversimplification, but you might just want to do music that you can play in front of your grandmama and she's like, baby, that sounds real good and it's positive. That might be your end goal.
As we go through the rest of number 4 on that list, there's some things, man, that's going to stand out that we've already been saying to you since we've been on this show, right? And there's some commonality, some common issues, but I'm just not going to put them out right now. We're going to go to the next one, and then we're going to keep rolling.
The next one we can skip. That's
what's
politics.
number 2?
Trump, politics.
No, the second one was the judgment. And basically Christian, he used the example of Trump and basically how Trump said that he could, and this was a direct quote from Trump, that he said that he could shoot somebody on Pennsylvania Avenue right in front of the White House and get away with it. And people are able to overlook that. But there have been a few artists like Lecrae who've done features with secular artists, and they accuse him of being a part of the Illuminati. Seven and Bizzle that have said the N-word in some of their music. Sho Baraka, who had said something about a specific body part at one point or another. And so the idea is that you get judged for your artistic content, and you may get judged at a higher standard than even gospel artists or people in the pulpit.
But Ray, that comes with the territory. Celebrityville, that is a part, again, if you don't have to be doing anything at all, you could be walking across the street and slip on a banana, and social media is going to assault, somebody's going to be out there assaulting, because that person wants a minute of fame. And just a quick testimony, even as I'm a public worker, there's people who always trying to tempt or trying to say, hey, trying to pick a fight for a YouTube moment. That's just the culture of social media. So, it just comes with the territory. The more you rise to the occasion, the greater the opposition.
But the way he got there is because he branded and marketed himself. So when you brand and market yourself to a higher status, so folks, you're an easy target for things like that.
Well, I'm gonna say, man, when it comes to judgment, no matter what you do, folks are gonna judge you. It doesn't matter. The thing that I want to talk about just for a sec is you have to. This is why it's so very important as an artist for you to allow your fans to get to know you as a person, right? You can't, we still have that microwave mentality. And that's why a lot of you not successful with your music, because you're trying to, we're in a different age. We're in the age of reality, right? People want to be in your life. They want to know who you are, how you tick, how you feel. If it's you riding the car eating a hamburger, talking about, man, I just left I'm gonna get my pants hemmed as high as doggone what? And just laugh and make jokes. They wanna be a part of your space. Now, when people are a part of your space and they get to know you, the music is just the icing on top, right? They bought into who you are as a person, but as an artist, you really don't understand PR. Right? You don't really understand how to connect with people, because some of you guys don't have no sales ability. You don't know how to build rapport. As an artist, you have to build rapport with your fans. And how you build rapport, you got to flip that camera on and you got to talk about some stuff other than music. And when people see where your heart is, because what I hear a lot of times the artists say, you don't know my heart. Well, dude, or sis, you got to share your heart outside of the music, so that because what's going to happen is then, and I'm just using Derek for, Derek Minor, well, they need to know Derek. Like, there was a time when we had the celebrity type mentality, and
that's the problem. The
celebrity type mentality is dead. Like, you're not going to be successful trying to extend yourself as you're better and know you're untouchable. No, you got to be touchable. The people that are touchable are the people that their fans consider their real person. And once your fans see that you're a real, that Johnny is a real person, he breathes, he boo-boo like I do, he misses car payment and have to pay a late fee for your car, for your car insurance, you live like everybody else. At that point, it's not gonna matter what label you give yourself, because they bought into you as a person. It ain't even about the music. The music is just something that you guys, another place that you guys can connect to, right? And until you understand that concept, you're not going to be successful as an artist. You have to build rapport with your fans, one fan at a time. Stop looking at, you don't need 20,000 people, man, to buy into you to make money. You need if you got 1,000 fans that spend $100 a year with you, you're gonna make $100,000 a year. So you need to focus on 1,000 people. But you need to, before you can get to 1,000, you got to have a conversation, right? Stop inboxing people just to listen to your music. Have a doggone conversation. Don't ask for nothing, right? Open your podcast, create your podcast as an artist, and have a conversation. Don't let it be about music. Like, people want to know who you are. What makes you tick? What's your favorite food? Why is that your favorite food? I don't like liver. If you don't like liver, tell your fans why you don't like liver. And
write a song about it.
That's right.
And you create a dialogue, because what's going to happen is they're going to love you as a person. And at that point, it's not going to matter what direction you could. Man, listen, I look at a lot of artists that have fans. They don't. The ones that have figured it out. They let those people into their life, and this is the reality. This is just what it is. That's why if you're a fake person, it's gonna find you out, right?
Well said. Well said. Definitely. Again, hey, be
right.
transparent. Be real. Hey, I mean,
and let me
yeah,
slide
go ahead,
this
B-Ray,
in
real quick.
Yeah, let me slide this in real quick. I feel like sometimes the mentality in church kind of plays at this whole I feel like I'm being judged thing. You know, like how many of us have heard pastors in the pulpit say Psalms 105 and 15, do not touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm.
Yeah.
And they use that as a means in which to say, don't ask me about my business. Don't criticize me. Don't be critical of what I do. You know, you're not supposed to do prophets any harm. And that is kind of an unfair standard in this age where we're asking artists, hey, you have to get to know me as a person. Because sometimes the mentality in church is they don't want to know you as a person. You know? So
and like Carlos said, that's because he's an entertainer. He's a comedian. You know what I'm saying? That's true for all entertainers across the board. You know what Enrico said, and Lamont says the same thing. You know, no matter what genre that you go in, okay, you are the brand. People have to get to know who you are. And I like Vince said something a while back concerning I'm not here, but we were talking about we are all consumers. Everybody is a consumer. Okay, so why should I purchase your product, purchase your music, or like you? Give me a reason to like who you are.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up because me personally, when I go into a store and I'm buying a piece of equipment, and you walk up to me as a retailer and you're selling it to me, and you just say, hey, listen, you know, this is the brand, this is the product, and so on and so forth. You better sell it to me. You understand? You better convince me that this is the real deal. Otherwise, you know, yeah, that's right. I am a consumer. I'm gonna move on from there. And see, that's the other problem is that your fans are consumers at heart. So, which means that if your product stinks, you know, if it's garbage, yeah, they're gonna buy us. They're gonna buy the next Beyonce. They're gonna buy the next Jay. You understand? They're gonna buy the next 2 Chainz or whatever, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter because that's the way they. In other words, just because you come into a church, you understand, that doesn't mean you totally transform and say, hey, listen, I'm going to buy a bunch of Christian music all the time. No, you're still consumers.
I don't care what kind of message that you have.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Cosby Show episode where he said, hey, you're serving a steak on a garbage pan lid. You know, if your track is trash, if you have awful production, if you don't know how to write a song, you don't know how to write song structure, if you don't know how to mix, and you are trying to give all of those excuses and say, but ignore all of that and just listen to the message. You can't do that in a Google age. You just can't do that. Nobody's going to give you that now.
Man, when I'm riding in the car, man, and if I turn it on, man, that beat ain't knocking, man, and ain't mixing master, I go to the next song, man. I skip that jump, man. That's like a prerequisite, man.
Right.
That's not even. You shouldn't even be doing music if it's not quality and excellent. It's the standard now. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's too many ways. Even if you don't have an engineer, you got Lender. Lender is automatic mastering. You got so many people that are mixing. You know, it don't matter who you go to, but it's the standard. You should understand that. But
hey, I got something deep, and we're gonna move on right quick. How many of us had that 3 o'clock fight after school?
I think everybody.
Follow me on this one. And we were ready, like 3 o'clock. When 3 o'clock hit, we were ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? We were ready to go, whether we were the victim or the suspect. We was ready to go. The crowd was going to be there. And we were just anticipated in that whole buildup. And the crowd got right out there. And I thought about that. I said, wow, this is deep. You understand? Because all day, you understand, when that kid say, hey, listen, 3 o'clock, it's on. You understand? That was in your mind. Or, you know what I'm saying, you were promoting the fight and your friends were coming. And that's the same thing pretty much like music. You got to be like that 3 o'clock kid. You understand? Hey, listen, push, fight, do whatever whatever's necessary legally, you know, to push your music out there and convince people that, hey, listen, you got good stuff. You know, if it's garbage, trash it, redo it again. You know,
I'll let you know. Definitely. All right.
Okay, let's go. Go ahead.
Number three.
Yeah.
Number three.
Yeah, number 3. And this is, to me, one of the most important things in the age of Nick Cannon, in the age of Lecrae. This is the important thing, this backlash that if a Christian artist who is on a certain platform decides that they want to talk about a certain thing that the majority of their audience doesn't want to talk about, now they get canceled. Now it's a problem. You know, the writer talked about the day that Lecrae tweeted about the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, and how all of these people started turning on Lecrae because of his tweet. And to me, knowing the history of Lecrae, knowing who actually was buying his records in the early days, how he actually broke into the music industry, it's kind of one of those things where if you don't own the platform, you have to play by the rules of the people who own that platform.
That's very good.
That's right.
That's it. I mean, you can't bite the hand that feeds you, pretty much.
And that's it. But it keeps going back to what we've been saying, right? You should be owning everything. It's just about ownership. You should the record, when we hadn't got to it yet, man. But the record situation, won a record deal, even if you're able to make a large sum of money, you want to be able to make that large sum of money on your own. In some type of way, you want to be able to be the controller of that money that you're making, because there's too many things that's happening. And, and when you do that, even if you say something, nobody can cancel you. The problem is that, you give up, you want the easy route. The easy route is, I want to go and I want to get this check. I don't want to create money for myself. I want somebody to give me something. And whenever people give you something, they always have the ability to take it back again.
That's good.
And if I work a job for another man, I don't mind working a job for another man, but I'm still gonna get my own money. Because at any day, that man can wake up or woman can wake up on the side of the bed and say, you know what, I don't need you no more. And my family still gotta eat. So I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna take that money, but I'm still gonna make my money too. That's being part of being a good steward. In the same way when you're an artist and you're trying to go, when an artist, why you go get a record deal? Because you want somebody else to put their money up, because you don't want to put your money up. You want somebody else to pay to get you in the door. You want somebody else to pay for you to create a fan base. It's their marketing machine, their marketing promotion dollars, their radio budget that they're giving you. Homeboy, it ain't your money. You want somebody else to pay your way. And then you fuss because somebody get mad and they take it back. Well, sometimes you got to hold out, like Nick Cannon. He might not have been on TV right now. He probably might still been on YouTube, but you still own it. And sometimes that ownership is better, because we in the independent age, there's opportunity for everybody. You don't want people owning your stuff. Now, if somebody want to invest, I really don't like people investing too tough, because y'all may fall out, or something just may happen, and it just still may put you in a situation where you can't get no money. So stop being lazy and go and get your own money, so that if anything goes to the left or to the right, you still can do what you got to do. And I'm just saying, sometimes, sometimes it's cool, just like us, man. We come together, man, as a unit of vehicle, and we rock together. But as an artist, when you sign those contracts, man, you signing your life away. Maybe you don't need to go out and get your own sneaker deal. There's so many independent designers out here. Go and break bread, build a relationship, and go, and wear the designer clothes and start that relationship. So when that designer blows up, guess what? Y'all already been rocking 3 or 4 years before anybody else even knew about them already. So now you get put on. You guys are, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say,
let's ride, Rico, let's ride that roller coaster for a minute. I've been in places where there'll be a bunch of artists in the room, a whole bunch of artists. They go McDonald's across the street. They'll go over there. They'll blow their money over there. Come right back over there, and they would not support. They would not support whatever's going on in that event. Come in, they look crispy with the nice shoes and the whole 9 yards, you know. And can I say it's heartbreak? I don't know if it's just it's wisdom, knowledge, or just don't have understanding of business. You understand? Because if it was me, I'll say, you know, a bunch of us in here in the same room could put in $25. You understand? And get together and be a force. See, that's the problem. You come to they come to the venues and they say, well, you know, hey, and by right, if it was by contract and not by verbal, yeah, it's two different things going on. You understand? If it was an agreement, it's agreement. If it was verbal, that's a whole different thing, because I've seen it where it was verbal and now that artist, you know what I'm saying, he ain't getting paid for the night. My point is that they cry about this same argument we're still having till it's 30 years later. We're still having the same argument, and it's like about 5-10 artists in the room and would not put their money together. But they'll come back, they'll come together to look good, you understand, and to spit the hottest verses or whatever, and they get their CD slapped on the table and say, here, it's free or whatever, something like that. But they would not put their minds as a business, as a unit, and put it together.
I think the reason why it's hard for artists to do that is because they don't really know how to build a relationship. Like you can't. It's very hard to work with people and you don't have a relationship with them.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? So you know, I think it's just some baby steps that artists got to take in order to be able to get there. But go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. I've been to conventions like that, Vince. But I've also been to other conventions that were sponsored by our other people, and they come in as a force of one. And what does that mean? They come in with the mindset of, I'm already a business. I'm already this and I'm already that. And so when they set up their marketplace, you know, I've seen conventions where artists walk out with, you know, $10,000-$15,000 on one convention, and it's just the mindset of the people that's at that particular conference, you know. And I hate to boil it down to a black and white kind of thing.
Preach.
But it is a different mentality when you're dealing with certain types of artists, and you can argue that goes back to the plantation. You can argue that goes back to the hood. You can argue wherever, but there is a certain mentality that if you take 5 independent African-American artists that don't know each other and put them in a room, they're not going to come together. Odds are it's going to be a competition on who's this and who's that.
That's good.
And that has to stop. We're never going to get anywhere, especially in Christian hip hop. Especially if you look at the RIAA sales figures, and you look at, it's not, you know, the what was it, Lecrae's Gravity CD that they say was the most important Christian hip hop record of all time, and it only sold 90,000. Come on, something got to change.
So I think that when it comes to black people, and I can say that because I'm black, we deal with tribalism issues, and we don't like to talk about that. You know,
talk about it.
You know, it's a slave mentality. It's a slave mentality. You know, if you got a black guy and you're black and you got a black guy right here and you got a business, then you got a white guy that got a business. The most black people, they're gonna support the white business because they ultimately think it's better. So it's kind of almost like reverse slavery in a sense, because you're thinking that because this white guy got this business, that business is somehow better. You know, so I'm gonna support that, and that he could be charging you more, could be the same price. So I think that, you know, not trying to make everything about race, but sometimes there's some other deep-rooted issues going on in the black community with each other.
Yeah.
That until that kind of get rectified, it's really going to be very hard, man, for everybody to kind of work together in a sense, because that's just kind of state of mind. Now, maybe that's a show for critical dialogue, but you know,
which is a good point. But it goes back to being intentional that it can work, because again, we can look at what the Bible saying in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so again, if you really want unity, it can happen. But but if you artists are just stuck on your celebrityism mentality, then no, you're gonna keep getting the same results and gonna be in the same situation 3 years from now. Not making no sales, begging folks, and trying to be an opportunist to get your stuff promoted. All right. And yeah, I definitely.
And when it comes to business, you want to look at what is the price point and the quality of what you're buying. It shouldn't have anything to do with the color. Because when I go in and get more, I went and bought tires, man, for my car. You know, I'm looking at the price. I want to get a quality tire. I want a tire that's going to last 10,000 miles.
Right.
And I'm looking at the price. I'm price shopping. If a black shop got it, but if a black shop got a 50,000 mile radio that I'm looking for, a low profile that I'm looking for, well, if that tire, you selling that tire, man, for $375, and I can go down the road, another shop got that same tire for $225, I'm gonna get the tire for $225.
Correct.
I'm not gonna get the tire for $375 just because you're black, because it don't benefit me. You know, so to be competitive in business, you got to have competitive prices. You know what I mean? Right. So, you know, nobody's just going to support your business just because you're black and you don't have quality. You know, you're going, instead of you putting a lot of money in to buy something in bulk so you can drive your price down, you go down the corner and get it from Mr. John, who already paying high, and then you come back and you try to charge, you know, when I was buying Dickies, man, you selling Dickies, man, for school for $35, but I can go right down the outlet, man, you know, 10 miles down the road and get those same shorts, man, for like $18. So I'm going to drive 10 miles to get for $18 and buy more versus paying $35 for one pair. So we have to be competitive, and that's understanding business. That's having a good price point. You know what I mean? And
so how can we translate that into music? You know what I'm saying, as an artist?
Go ahead, Dan. No. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you translate that into music by saying you cannot allow any factor that is a hindrance to give you something that's going to be used as an excuse in the free market. Mm-hmm. Just what we talked about earlier. Okay, yeah, my production is not as good because I couldn't afford it, but listen to my message. No, I'm not going to. I don't have it. I don't have it on Spotify, Apple, because I can't afford. I don't know how to get it out there, but I got it on this burnt CD. No, I'm not going to buy it. You know what I mean? And so that when you are when you're talking about the free market, it's time to put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on and realize that you are a force. You have to treat your career like a business, and you got to come in as a professional and say, you know what? I have to put myself. I'm now in competition with the Beyonce. I'm in competition with the Lecrae. That means that my music, even if I don't have $1 million bells and whistles in the recording studio, I got to mix it to the point that I can fool my audience into thinking that I do.
I'm gonna say, man, we got a 75-year-old client, a 78-year-old client, and she's evolving, right? Willing to evolve. You have to evolve as an artist.
Yes, you do. Stop making excuses. All right, how bad do you want it? All right, stop making excuses.
We'll put up what Lamont had up, bro. But that celebrity thought process is also why some artists aren't really recognized. It's like you're either in the circle or you're not, especially among our people. So you have to create your own lane and go around them. So that's what we always talk about, man. You should be creating your own fan base. You should create your own lane anyway, man. That's you know that's what I talk to you about, man. But it's a little bit tougher than what it sounds because you actually got to do some work.
I think Kevin J, hey, what's going on, man? Strange. I guess he was saying the brand has no appeal.
Appeal. Yeah.
So again, that's part of consumerism. Again, how can your music appeal to me? Just because you sing gospel don't mean that I'm gonna buy it. All right, it is what it is, man.
Let me get to this. Let me get to this next point because
number 4.
This is good. The new toy syndrome. Let's say, okay, so what is the new toy syndrome? And I'm gonna read what the quote was. said a Christian hip hop artist can be doing amazing music for years and get no awards, get few touring opportunities, and very little money. But let a mainstream artist say Jesus in an ad lib, and y'all tell the Christian hip hop artist he's trash and he should do it like the mainstream artist.
I'm gonna say, man, I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about no awards. Who cares about awards? Awards don't mean nothing. They're stupid. Awards are stupid to me.
I concur. Go ahead.
They're dumb. When if tours are the artists, put your own tour together. Get your money right and do your own tour. Start if you do local tours.
Thank you.
Don't look for them. Go get your own money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to them for money. So that's what I say about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I know personally a few people who was in the industry. You understand? You never heard of them, but they know how to work that money. You understand? Mm-hmm. They know how to get paid. Bottom line. So it's almost like everybody wants to be the quarterback. And that's my thing. Everybody can't be the quarterback. Sometimes you're gonna have to be the linebacker. Sometimes you're gonna have to be the safety. Sometimes you're just gonna have to be sitting on. Well, I wouldn't say sitting on the bench, but hey, listen. You at practice. You understand? Point in case. You understand? Stop trying to be the front. Stop trying to be the front man on everything. And that's the mentality that we have in this country, is that everybody's just trying. Oh yeah, if I'm not, in other words, if I'm not on Jay-Z's level or something, I hate to bring them back up, because people kind of like local artists try to kind of shift to that whole thing. They kind of like, they think they riding a bike. Mm-hmm. You understand? Yeah. And then suddenly, you know what I'm saying, when you talk to them, it's like they ride in a Bugatti or something like that. You understand? And you have pride in yourself. I have no problem with that. But the thing is that sometimes is it about the money? Is it about the money, or is it about?
It goes back to motive. It goes back to motive, like you said. And the fact is most people, they want that shine. They want that star mentality. They want, hey, yo, look at me. All right. And again, there's a lot of folks that have some great, that are popular, but they are broke. Okay. Famous and broke. So
you know what, y'all? I agree with what everybody is saying. I really do. But I think about the indie artist that has been doing what we say, that's listening, that's not hard-headed, that wants to learn, and you're working so hard to craft your brain. You're working so hard you might be working 2 or 3 jobs to purchase studio time or equipment, or to hire a team like Music Industry Makeover. And you're working hard, and you do your first show, and 5 people show up, and none of them are from your church. And the next Sunday, your pastor gets in the pulpit and quotes Kanye's Christian hip hop record. You know what I mean? That kind of thing just kind of could drive you nuts. And I understand what y'all are saying, but yeah, it's just like that whole new toy thing. Snoop Dogg does a gospel record and gets all of these awards and Grammys and stuff.
But D-Man, that's old news. I'm gonna tell you why. Because MC Hammer, let's run down the line. MC Hammer put out gospel. Who else put out gospel?
A whole bunch of
disco days of Sylvester put out gospel. Secular artists have been in church and then came back and put out gospel albums. So pretty much it's old news.
Well, most of the churches it really like secular music anyways. You know what I'm saying? So let's just keep it real.
They like secular artists' money.
That's what. No,
keep that real.
No, well, yeah, that too. No, but I'm talking about as consumers, as fans. That's why, the preacher announced, mentions on Kanye's song, because again, they watch secular entertainment. All right, I mean, it is what it is. So that's who an artist is up against.
You know what I look at like this, man. If nobody don't want to believe in me, I'm gonna believe in myself.
Correct.
And a prophet is not accepted in his own country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the same way even in ministry. The ministries I went to, the people in my ministry, they ain't support me. They'll support somebody else to come. They ain't really been there. That's just something that's all over, man. What you got to do is you got to break through that, man, and go find people that do want to support you.
We should be, Donna. You're right. Yeah, go ahead.
But you do that by building a relationship and building rapport with people and building a relationship with your fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where who cares if somebody at your church supports you or not? It may be somebody support you in another church. You know what I'm saying? Or it may be somebody support you out of church. You know.
But Rico, again, to our point, again, how the church folks or Christians like secular entertainment. Think about again with that song WAP. Man, they done made acronyms, worship and praise and everything.
Can't
Trying to
do
copy.
that. You can't make that.
It's the truth. That is the truth.
So come on, man.
That is the truth.
Do it to WAP and make that a Christian song.
That is the truth.
But you know what's deep? You know what's deep? Another deep moment. You know what I'm saying? You go overseas and it's a different love. It's a totally different love. You could be like, you could be Rico. You already know. You understand? There's just a different feel. You already know there's a different feel in other countries. Because they have a greater appreciation. Here in the United States, we're pretty spoiled. You understand? Yeah. So in other words, if that artist is like, okay, yeah, he was good for 24 hours or something like that, then the next they're moving on.
Correct.
That's how it is. That's the culture.
To respond to Lamont's statement where he said about MC Hammer didn't put out a gospel album, but he did have a top 10. He had a top 10 hit called "Pray."
Yeah,
that he used "When Doves Cry" as a sample.
Yeah,
and the other one with Tremaine Hawkins, "Don't Pass Me By."
Don't pass me by. Right. So he, and so
they always do that.
Right.
Okay. Well, again, it was made popular by your girl Cardi B.
No, it wasn't called WAP at my church. It's called Worship and Praise at my church.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
But hey, what's our did we get all our points?
No, the last one, and we kind of been touching on it. He said the shadiness. And he says, he talks about the closet racism, the unequal pay, awful record deals, snubs at every door, every corner behind the scenes in the Christian music industry. And he says, no wonder dudes say this might not be worth it. The grass may be greener. And that really just translates to what we've been saying the entire time, that if you create your own lane and you own your own audience. And here's the thing where independent artists mess up. You rent your artist every time you don't own your audience. And you need to own your audience. You say, well, what do you mean, D-Ray? You need to know, you need to have email lists. You need to have data. You need to have analytics. You need to have contact information. These people need to know you. You know what? If I know plenty of artists, if you want to talk about MC Hammer, when back in the late 80s, MC Hammer turned down millions of dollars from the record industry because he was already making millions of dollars on the street selling his record out of the trunk.
Yep.
He was making millions.
Master P,
yeah.
And you talk about like the movers and shakers in the business. You're talking about Shirley Caesar. She sold out of her trunk. You're talking about Ready for the World, sold out of their trunk. So what winds up happening, and I know I'm going back in the day, but what you're talking about now is if you create that lane and you own that lane, nobody can take that lane from you.
Nobody.
And so just think about this. If I have an email list, if I'm an independent artist and I have an email list of 10,000 people, 10,000 legitimate email addresses, and these people know me, that means that every release that I have, I can promote to that email list, and I'm going to get bare minimum 10,000 streams every time I come out.
There you go.
But you got to do the work to create that.
And that's through building relationship one-on-one with your fans.
Right, exactly. All right. Sandra, I guess she's quoting a scripture there in Galatians, and I know about that song by R. Smith. Has over 1 million views on YouTube, but he didn't make $1 million off of it. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We definitely Danny. However, the testimonies of the number of people that were deeply blessed is through the roof. Amen. He's at peace with that. A particular Christian artist I DJ'd. But yeah, exactly. Because I knew you were a DJ. I'm happy DJ Day as well too. But the fact is, it goes back to again, in ministry. You know what I'm saying? Learn what ministry truly is. All right. If you want to branch out into being an artist, then you need to handle the business, do the principles of the music business. There's nothing wrong with the music business. It's how you operate in it. Don't don't get taken advantage of either, and don't you try to take advantage of other people trying to be an opportunist to put your music on DJ's platform when you're not going to pay them. All right. So, and yeah, and I mentioned that earlier this week, and I really mean that. Those who even know me, so again, look, stop trying to take advantage of our platforms. Okay, just like you're gonna pay Rapzilla or somebody such and such, pay us. Bottom line. And again, it is what it is. Danny, what you said off camera, so about the industry and how much they spent in marketing.
Oh, right, right.
Record labels.
Yeah, record labels.
Okay.
Yeah. So record labels, it would surprise you guys to know how much money the industry spends on marketing and promotion. Okay, the record industry is a $6.2 billion industry. They spent $5.8 billion just on marketing and promotion.
$5.8 billion from 6.2.
There is a principle called the 7-point principle that was created in Hollywood back in the 30s. Okay, who is that? I don't own a dog. There was a principle
that's Vince.
Yeah, that's Vince. There is a principle that back in the 30s, movie executives decided that they needed to advertise 7 times per person. A person needed to see 7 advertisements for one film in order to buy one ticket. And so they factored in that if we're marketing this movie to one person, we have to get it in front of them 7 times in order for them to buy a ticket. Wow. That is the same mentality that independent artists have to have in order to be successful. Putting it on Facebook and putting it in a Facebook group is not going to do it. Asking your mama and your dad and your family to share it on Facebook, that's not going to do it. Now, if you're in ministry, that's a whole separate another element that, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're talking about business, there are rules to engagement when it comes to business.
So how much is the marketing for gospel?
I would say a fraction of that. I can go back and look, and I'll have that next week because gospel music is real funny when it comes to letting people know how much it's spent.
Oh,
they use this is real. Because they used to come out with a report, the GMA, Gospel Music Association, used to come out with a yearly report that they would break down sales, they would break down revenue, they would break down demographics. Mm-hmm. They haven't released that report since 2008. Now, there's no explanation as to why that is, but one could gather it's because people stopped buying records. And it's really, really hard to gauge merchandising because merchandising are not counted as record sales. Hey, so, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to go back to Cassandra's comment or so, because again, that right there for us, a lot of souls, 1 million souls were blessed by R. Swift songs. And a lot of artists get into that mentality. Hey, look, I want to bless folks. I want to see souls saved. But then they kind of seem to switch to, well, hey, I want to get paid at the same time. All right. And so that's where I'm saying you need to understand the difference between ministry and industry, because ministry was not meant to be made money off of. Okay, for us. Okay, hey, look, I want to see your soul saved, so I need $500. Oh, hey, buy my CD so that Christ can come into your life. No, all right. Again, you got to know your foundation of why you are doing what you're doing, and stop looking at the preacher as if he's making money off the gospel. Well, no, he works for a nonprofit organization, which is that particular church. So set yourself up as a nonprofit or a 501c3, and you can make money that way. But if you just want to go out and just save some souls or minister to folks, man, folks ain't got to pay you for that. But yeah, I just want to put that out there. But go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, Vince, since you asked, and since I do what I do, the GMA, the last report that they came out with, which was in 2015, said that they had Christian music had 215 million people that listen every month. 68% of Americans listen to Christian music. 93% of African Americans, or more than 38 million people, listen to gospel radio in the past year.
Wow.
So as we're moving into this streaming age, and we're moving into this non CD age, it's very important for independent artists to understand that with all of this music that's out there on streaming platforms, you have to set yourself apart.
There you go.
And you do that by marketing and promotion.
Bottom line. All right, we're about to wrap this up here. So, well, thank y'all so much for joining us. All right, Music Industry Makeover. Make sure you go and visit our website, musicindustrymakeover.com. Okay, hey, if you see a package that fits you or so, we have merchandise on there as well. A whole lot of other great things. Also, we're on Roku. Oh yes, and if you have Roku and Amazon, make sure you go and download the app. It's a free app because again, you know, we want to help people out there, and we know the industry. All right, we don't know everything about the industry. We are consistently learning. Nobody has all the answers. Okay, but we're learning every day, and we know that the industry is changing. So you need to learn the music industry. All right. So that's the photo that you'll see right there on Amazon and Roku. Go ahead on and download the app and rate us. Let us know how what you think about it. Also, in the box as well. Go ahead, Rico, talk about that.
That we're on every Friday night. So, you're able to kind of, see it as well on either Roku, you go to the channel store, and Music Industry Makeover, on Amazon Fire Stick, you just type in the box, in the search, go down to the gray box, apps and games, and you'll see it there as well. So we're there. Go and rate the show. Go rate both of the shows. We got some other shows, some other channels, man, that we coming up. We are expanding. All you guys that's been praying for us, we're expanding. And we want to say thank you. The Lord's opening doors. Let's not forget Madden. We're gonna do the Madden tournament as well. We're gonna be releasing. We're gonna try to do. We're gonna probably start in October. So we're gonna release that. And then we're also gonna do a songwriting contest, because this is what we're looking at doing. We're gonna actually have one artist that we're gonna take that artist under our wing, under our pocketbook, and we're gonna market and promote that artist for a whole year at no cost, as a market test for some of the things we got, and so we're gonna do a songwriting contest, maybe 16 bars or whatever, maybe a singing contest, we may be a multiple contest, but our goal is we're looking for one artist that we can put into our market test, our engine at Music Industry Makeover, Finio Max. We're gonna put that market, we're gonna take that artist and we're gonna market you, we're gonna throw everything at you. So we're gonna throw everything that we have at our disposal, because we want to test some things out, because we're about to do some things in the future, because record labels, man, are going to marketing promotions. That's why they're buying, meme companies. Warner Brothers bought a meme company. The thing is, as an artist, you don't need a record label. You're the record label. You get your own records done, but you do need marketing and promotions. And we're kind of posting up to get ready, man, to start running as a force. We got some things. Danny got some things, man, that he's working on.
Newsletter too. Talk about that. Sorry.
Go ahead, Danny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a monthly newsletter that we're going to be putting out on eBlast. That's going to go out to people on our email list. And if you're an artist that want to be featured in that newsletter, you can contact us for a pretty affordable rate to promote yourself in our monthly newsletter. And our goal is to get that out to about 1,000 people per month. And so we are well on our way to achieving that number. So yeah, like Rico said, we got a lot of things that's moving.
Yes, we are. Vince, go ahead.
Yeah, support in the box. And again, we got other shows on the weekends. Don't forget the merch site. We posting that up. So awesome. That's what we're doing. We're moving pretty fast, man. The train is moving pretty fast. So kind of grab on, find out what's going on.
Grab on.
And real quick, I want to say too, Hip Hop Praise, man, I'm keep neglecting my own show and everything, but hey, if you're in the Hampton Roads area, you can catch me on 104.9. All right, every Saturday. Okay, tune in. And if you I want to come on there as well. Hey, again, that's a part of MIM. We have packages for that, and we're on other stations as also too across the country. Hip hop praise. So God is doing some great things as well as grown folk gospel. I mean, we specialize in all gospel music or so. So again, to God be the glory. Hey, thank you there, Donna, and congratulations to Bria Miles or so. Number one on the charts with Crazy Faith or so. So man, hey, awesome job on that. And again, remember, you matter in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God has called you to do, and you'll be just fine. All right. Hey, don't forget, In the Box coming up Friday night. God bless you. See ya. Yep.
Just give me the music, give me the music. Hey, just give me the music, give me the music.